Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Football for Fun. We are going to be giving our honest reaction to the Week 6 AP poll today, and then I'll show you my own rankings because, look, I got to do it myself if they're going to be this bad over there at the AP poll, and I'll be giving you my Week 6 predictions as well, all top 25 matchups, so stay tuned for that. Man, what a weekend we had in the college football. Just so many high-level matchups, and a lot of the time, when you have these big games going on, you've got all the excitement. Sometimes it doesn't live up to the hype, but this past weekend, I would say it certainly did. Georgia, Alabama, and Penn State, Oregon going on at the same time. Classic, man. Georgia, Alabama came down to the wire as always. As a Georgia fan, it hurt because we came up short. Very easily could have won that, but Alabama seems to own us, and I hate to say it, but we got to face the truth, and we have an Alabama problem. No matter how good or bad either of us are, they seem to always be ready for us. So, is what it is. Penn State, Oregon, that game I didn't see a lot of because I was watching the Georgia game. I was commentating live, play-by-play reaction. So, I didn't see the Penn State, Oregon game. It looked like it was boring for a while, but then it got exciting in the fourth quarter. Apparently, Dante Moore is just elite over there at Oregon, so good to see. My preseason national championship prediction was Georgia over Oregon in the championship game. Right now, if I were to say to pick an unbiased champion, it would be Oregon. So, in any case, we're going to go ahead and talk about the AP poll. It's, this week's edition of a disaster. It's a disaster every week. I don't know why we continue to acknowledge that it exists. We should just cancel it altogether, but we, as a society, do not move on from the AP poll, and at this point, I really do wonder if they watch the games. I really do wonder, do these voters watch the games? Do these voters know that some teams outside this poll exist? Because you got Arizona State there at 25, which I'm okay with Arizona State being ranked. You'll see them in my rankings soon enough, actually higher up than 25. My problem here is you don't have the team who beat them in the rankings, alright? Unranked still is Mississippi State, and the reason they're unranked is because they lost this past week and they were already unranked. So, you can't rank a team that is coming off a loss. Sure, it doesn't matter that it's to number 15 Tennessee in overtime. No, that doesn't matter because they weren't previously ranked, so they're not going to move into the rankings. I understand that, but they should have been ranked already. They should have been ranked ever since they beat Arizona State in, week 2? They beat, at the time, the AP poll's number 12 team, and they were unranked. And they continue to win and look good, and they're still unranked. I do not understand it whatsoever, but this is where we're at. It is what it is, and I hate it for Mississippi State fans, because there's a decent chance they continue to rack up losses. They got A&M this week. A&M is probably the better team. If they lose that game, and they have a tough schedule remaining, I don't know if they're ever going to make the rankings this season, but they should have. They deserve to. So, I take huge issue with a 3-1, I believe, Arizona State being ranked at 25, but Mississippi State, who beat them head-to-head, is unranked. And if you want to bring up the resumes, are you going to tell me that Mississippi State's win over TCU is a better win? I'm sorry, Arizona State's win over TCU is a better win than Mississippi State's win over Arizona State? Because that is a ridiculous take, I'm not going to lie. Because Mississippi State proved they're better than Arizona State. Yes, it was a close win. Mississippi State controlled that game for a while. Last second win still, because they choked, but they were in control of most of that game. Arizona State eked out a win against TCU. I will say, though, they have two nice wins, TCU and Baylor. I appreciate both of those wins. You have to respect the head-to-head result here. Mississippi State's loss is better, too. I mean, Arizona State lost to Mississippi State. Mississippi State lost to Tennessee. State has the better win and loss here. It is baffling that they are unranked while Arizona State gets to be ranked. So, if the AP poll wasn't going to rank Mississippi State, they shouldn't be ranking Arizona State. That's my opinion. Take it or leave it. I think it's absolutely pathetic and shameful they won't rank Mississippi State. Moving on to that, though, you got Virginia at 24. I'm okay with it. Virginia was one of my toughest teams to rank this week. That big win over Florida State, but a pretty ugly loss to NC State. NC State is not very good. They're 3-2, but they just lost to Virginia Tech, which is... that should get their coach fired this season, honestly. Not really, but yeah, that's a bad loss to take. So, yeah, Virginia's weird. I don't really care where you put Virginia. There's no obvious placement. BYU being ranked, fine. They're not going to be in my rankings. They don't really have any impressive wins. They're undefeated. Great. So is Maryland. So is Houston. You don't see them in the rankings. It's because they haven't beaten anyone worthy of mentioning. So... BYU, keep it up. You can get some good wins soon, but right now, I don't believe 23, though, it's not far off from where I have them. They're right outside my rankings, so not a big deal. Illinois ranked. I actually take no issue with it this week. I think it was ridiculous they were ranked last week, but this week it's fine. They picked up a quality win over USC, so I can live with that. Notre Dame at 21. I won't have them ranked yet. They're 2-2. I'll get to them a little later, I guess. I don't have a lot to say. I guess I'll say it now. I mean, they destroyed Arkansas, got Sam Pittman fired, although that was inevitable anyway. Great win for them, and I think they're probably just going to win out, honestly. But I can't rank them based on my projections. I got to rank them based on what's happened, and they have 2 losses. So I'm going to rank the teams that are more deserving right now. So wins over quality losses usually is what I'm going to go with. So Notre Dame is a little bit outside my rankings. If they win this week, they'll probably be ranked by me, but we'll see a week from now. Michigan at 20, that's fine. I'm cool with it. Missouri at 19, I got them higher. I've had them higher for the past few weeks because I like their win over Kansas, although that took a bit of a hit because Kansas lost to Cincinnati. That surprised me a good bit. So that win lost some value in my books. South Carolina got a win this week, so that win is a little more valuable now. Missouri beat South Carolina. I think South Carolina is still a good team. Some people disagree with that. I've had some people tell me the win over South Carolina means nothing because South Carolina's bad. They're 3-2, man. They got a really good quarterback in Lenore Sellers. He just doesn't have much help around him. South Carolina is probably an 8-win team. I don't know if they get there with the tough schedule they have, but that's the quality team that they have. Probably an 8-4 type of team. So I think that's still a good team. They're just not great. So for now, that win holds value to me. It might lose value as the year goes on. We'll see. This is based on right now, not moving forward. Florida State at 18. That's too low. That is too low. You put Alabama in your top 10. Florida State beat them head-to-head by 14. It wasn't like a last-second win. It wasn't a close game. Florida State was in total control. And now because Florida State lost to Virginia, who we are acknowledging as a ranked team, which means we're counting that as a good loss. That's how that works. Virginia's ranked. That is a good loss. So, quality win, quality loss. Alabama can stay the same. Quality win, quality loss. Florida State should be above Alabama. We already know who's better. We know who's more deserving, too. I would say at least Florida State and Alabama have very comparable resumes, but the head-to-head win is going to give them the edge there for me. So if you're going to put Bama higher, at least make it close. An 8-spot gap is kind of crazy to me. Georgia Tech at 17, fine. Vandy at 16, fine. I got them a little higher, but fine. Tennessee at 15, I can live with that. Iowa State, they're a little high to me just because I was impressed by them this past week, and they beat up on undefeated Arizona. I picked Arizona for the upset win. My bad. Shouldn't have disrespected State like that. They're still a very solid team. They'll win 8 or 9 games this year. It's the same State team as every year, though. They're going to lose to somebody they shouldn't at some point. I'm sorry. They'll win a lot of games, but I don't know. I don't think they have a resume that warrants 14th overall. I know they're undefeated. I have them a little lower. I don't take big issue with this, but still. LSU at 13 is pathetic. It's pathetic. I think they have them higher right now than I had them at all last week, maybe. Or no, it was around the same. I think I had them at 12 last week. They haven't beaten anyone, unless we're going to say 1-3 Clemson counts. Clemson, who lost to Syracuse, who just lost 38-3 to Duke. Granted, their starting quarterback is out now, but losing by 35 to Duke is not good, no matter what. So, no disrespect to Duke, but yeah, no, that Clemson is not a good win. I'm not counting that as a quality win. That's why I've got Georgia Tech a little lower as well. Yeah, LSU and Georgia Tech share the same quality win, right? Their best win is over Clemson for both of those teams. Yet undefeated Georgia Tech is at 17. LSU is up there at 13. I don't know why there's a 4-spot difference. LSU has a loss. They lost to Ole Miss. It's a good loss, but come on. We all know the truth about LSU. They got a good defense, and that's about it. Their offense stinks right now. Maybe they'll fix it, but this is not a top 13 team. They do not deserve it, nor are they playing like it, so shame on the AP poll for being so attached to their preseason expectations that they're keeping LSU high. Georgia at 12, fine. Texas Tech at 11, I'd have them higher, fine. Bama at 10, I don't know why we're putting them that high. I mean, I'll only have them a little lower to be fair, but yeah, I think they're a little high. Texas at 9, I'm not even going to have them ranked. Didn't rank them last week, didn't rank them this week. I don't know what they've done to deserve being ranked. They haven't really looked good. They've got an elite defense, and that's it. Their only quality result that matters is a close loss to Ohio State, which, in that case, it's Texas' elite defense against Ohio State's less than elite offense. So, yeah, holding them to 14 points is, that's great and all, but you still lost that game. Your offense is that bad. You hold the number 1 team, according to the AP poll, to 14 points. Couldn't put up much of an effort on offense. No, Texas doesn't have the resume to justify a number 9 overall. That's pathetic. So take issue with that. Indiana at 8, I've got them higher. You'll be surprised where I have them. But fine, as long as you have them up there. Penn State at 7 is ridiculous. It's sort of like Texas. Actually, it's the same as Texas. Their only good result is a quality loss to a top team. The difference is Penn State has at least looked good when beating up on bad teams. LSU's win over Clemson is better than anything Penn State has done yet, so I do have LSU ranked higher than Penn State. We'll get to that soon. No, Penn State should be nowhere near the top 10. That's absolutely ridiculous. They need to actually win some games against teams that you've heard of. I mean, Nevada, Florida International, and Villanova, I guess you've heard of them in passing, probably more often in basketball than football. I'm just saying, those are not good wins. I'm still going to have them ranked because they at least look dominant, and the loss to Oregon in overtime is a quality loss. We will respect that here, but that limits how high you can go in a merit-based ranking. Texas A&M at 6, that's fine. Oklahoma at 5, sure. I don't really take issue with the top 5 at all. Top 6 is fine. I'm going to have a different order just based on my perception of these teams' resumes. But, yeah, overall, I'm fine with the top of this list. Yeah, no, we got some issues here, though. And my biggest issue still is Arizona State being ranked and Mississippi State not being ranked. It's ridiculous. If they had already had them ranked, it wouldn't be an issue, but here we are. We're going to move on now. Let me show you my rankings. We just took a look at the trash AP poll. Here's what I got. I got Miami number 1 overall. I had them there last week. I'm not changing it this week. I mean, they've got the wins over Notre Dame, which I know I don't have them ranked, but that is still, if we're power rating teams, that's a top 15 roster most likely, and they're going to be ranked again soon. It's obviously, we all acknowledge that is a good win. It's a quality win. They beat up on South Florida. That's a quality win in my books, so South Florida should still be ranked. We'll get to them later, because the AP poll won't do it. They won't do it. I got them ranked. Miami got like 2 quality wins there, and if we count Florida, which I don't, but given that Florida is your 3rd best win, I mean, that's the best trio of wins you're going to see in the country. Definitely the best. So, I respect that. Indiana at 2, I think that probably will surprise a lot of people. Indiana fans, enjoy it. You guys deserve it. Most of this has to do, they get a bump in my rankings because their second win of the season, their second good win, I should say, came against Iowa this past weekend, and some people are going to just laugh at that and go, they only won by 5 points. Well, it was 7. Mendoza took a safety at the end of the game to end it. So, but yeah, 5, 7, not much of a difference anyway. Indiana, their win over Illinois by 53 points, who I am acknowledging as a ranked team this week. That means something for me. Illinois beat USC and jumped up a good 10 spots in my rankings. I had them unranked in the 30s. So, Indiana gets a boost there. They beat a top 25 team by 53 points. That's the most impressive ranked win that we have this season. It's not the best win because Illinois is nowhere near as good of a win as, say, Oklahoma over Michigan, Ole Miss over LSU, in my opinion, based on the talent these teams have. But Indiana beat them by 53 points. I love that, and that has to mean something. Wins over Illinois and Iowa, both top 40 teams. That's a great pair of wins, and the amount by which they beat Illinois, that's enough for me to put them at 2 over some of these other teams. Like Oklahoma, they have a pair of wins over Michigan and Auburn, so I would probably argue that that's a better pair of wins than Indiana has, but Oklahoma didn't blow out either of those top teams. Indiana blew out Illinois, so that's why I'm putting Indiana at 2. Oklahoma at 3 is just, I mean, I don't really care about John Mateer's injury. I mean, I do. That's going to affect them at some point, I'm sure, but they've played the games with him, and they've earned a high ranking. Nothing has happened without him yet, so I'm not going to adjust. If they were to lose a game with him out or something like that, fine, but this is based on what has been earned. This is not a projection. If I'm projecting, yeah, I would drop them. I would drop them because Mateer is injured and probably going to be missing a game or 2. Hopefully he's back for the Texas game. That's a big one. I'm not worried about Oklahoma, though. I'm going to keep them high. They've earned a high ranking. Quality wins over Michigan and Auburn. Auburn's a 2-loss team. They're one of the best 2-loss teams. Don't let that record fool you. They've played close with A&M and Oklahoma. So, quality win in my books. Oklahoma at 3. Ole Miss at 4. Man, 2 weeks ago, I was saying we need to see a complete performance from them. They hadn't done it yet. They played close with Kentucky and Arkansas. And then they blew out a very good Tulane team, which I'm giving them credit for. And then they beat LSU. And they were in control of that game for most of it. I mean, I never once looked at the score and thought, oh, yeah, LSU can make a comeback. Oh, Ole Miss isn't going to win this game. I was always confident Ole Miss would win that game. Even back in the offseason, I had discussions. I talked about Ole Miss, I talked about LSU, and I was saying Ole Miss is, in my eyes, going to be the 3rd best team in the SEC. That's what I said, and I got some hate for that. I met a lot of pleasant Ole Miss fans, though, so shout out to the Ole Miss fans I interacted with. You guys are awesome. I hope you are enjoying your season, because this has been great to watch. Hopefully they keep it up. Ole Miss at 4 is deserved. Ohio State at 5. Some people will take issue with it. If you want to put them at 1 because they're the reigning champs, fine. I won't argue. If that's your view, then so be it. I'm going to do it based on this season, though. And they have 2 good wins now. I think the win over Washington is a good win. Definitely a good win. And obviously, I'm going to count the win over Texas as a good win. I don't have them ranked, but they're not far outside my rankings. So, 2 quality wins. I just don't think they're quite as good as what Ole Miss has. Like, I think Ole Miss's win over LSU is better than any win Ohio State has. I'm sorry. That's just my take. You can disagree. Same with Oklahoma. Oklahoma's win over Michigan is better than what either of those teams behind them have. Indiana, I'm not going to say Illinois is a better win than any of them, but again, the magnitude. So, 53-point win there. Oregon at 6, some people are already hating. They're saying they should be top 3 or 2, and I'm just like, I get it. They beat Penn State. That's great. That's wonderful. Who else have they beaten? I could have put them lower, honestly. I could have put Texas A&M above them. Oregon at 6, they only have the 1 win, and I respect it, and they look dominant. And look, if I'm projecting, I would pick them to win it all this year. They would be my pick right now. So, yeah, I think they're obviously a great team, a top-tier elite team, one of the best, arguably the best. We'll see what happens, but resume-based, I've got them a little lower. A&M at 7, they got wins over Notre Dame and Auburn, and I didn't know where to put Texas A&M exactly. This top 7, really, you could rearrange it however you want, and you can make an argument for any order, and I would understand it. Like, the top 7, they're not all that far apart. They're all very close based on resume. It's for between Oregon and Texas A&M. It's like Oregon's second best win is Oklahoma State, I guess, and that's because of magnitude. You know, if I'm gonna say Indiana beat Illinois by 53 points and that matters, I'm gonna say Oregon beating Oklahoma State by 66 points means something. Even though that's a bad team, that is still a power team, and you ended up getting their coach fired. I'm just saying Oregon's looked that good, and I'm putting them just above A&M here because I don't think A&M has looked that good, even though they are winning these games, which is all that's going to matter at the end of the day. If they just keep winning, then who cares, right? But A&M at 7, you can disagree if you want. Tech at 8, I don't think they played last week, but they've looked dominant. They are passing the eye test easily. They have a great win over Utah, blowout win, so I'm going to keep them at 8. Missouri at 9, I talked a little bit about already. I give them credit for the South Carolina win. I give them credit for the Kansas win, too. Those are 2 power wins over 2 good teams. I'm not calling either team elite or a top 25 caliber team. They're both good teams that are probably winning 7, 8, maybe 9 games. So I like that win a lot. Those 2 wins a lot from Missouri. That's why they're still ranked high for me. And again, they're passing the eye test. Ahmad Hardy looks like a Heisman contender at running back. Elite running back. You got to go check him out. Missouri fans tried to tell me. They were right. Should have listened. Vandy at 9, kind of the same deal. They are passing the eye test. They look dominant. They're scoring at will against some of these teams. Hanging up 50 burgers. They put up 70 on Georgia State. I mean, I'm not going to say that's like super impressive because of, you know, those Georgia State, Utah State, you're going to score on them. But Vandy, this is not something we're used to. They're putting up points. They're going to put up a fight against Bama this week. They're going to put up a fight. I have no doubt about that. It's going to be a game. Vanderbilt deserves a high ranking in my opinion. They went to Virginia Tech and blew them out. I know Virginia Tech's not that good. I know. But that still is a power win for whatever it's worth. I'm not going to hang my argument on that. Really, it comes down to the blowout win over South Carolina. That's a really impressive win. South Carolina's a good team. They're 3-2. They're, as I've said, I think that they are a good enough team to win 8 games. They'd be one of the best teams in the ACC or the Big 12. I know that doesn't matter as much. I'm just saying that's how good I believe they are. That's my view of them. So I'm giving Vandy the credit there. These next 6 teams, they all have the same record, I believe, or at least they're all 1-loss teams. Florida State, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Arizona State. For this, they all have a quality win. For some against each other, Florida State beat Bama, Bama beat Georgia, Georgia beat Tennessee, Tennessee just beat Mississippi State beat Arizona State. Honoring the head-to-head results there. Arizona State has the least of the quality wins there. I mean, they beat TCU, that's their best win. They do have a win over Baylor that I like, but that doesn't compare to the wins the other teams have. I'm really honoring head-to-head results here. I believe that all 6, or at least the first 5, Florida State through Mississippi State, all have comparable resumes. So when the resumes are that comparable and you got the same records, I'm going to honor the head-to-head results here. So for me, it needed to be like this. Florida State, then Alabama, then Georgia, then Tennessee, then Mississippi State, and then Arizona State. Arizona State's not as close to those teams as the others are to each other. But again, they got wins over TCU and Baylor. Their losses to a very apparently good Mississippi State team. They just went to overtime against Tennessee, who went to overtime against Georgia. Just saying, stop disrespecting State. They're a good team. Iowa State, maybe I'm putting them too low. Maybe I am. They're undefeated. They have 3 wins against power teams, I believe. I'm only a little lower on them than others are. I don't think it's that egregious or anything, but I've not been impressed by them throughout the season. And then they beat up on Arizona, who I thought was not a bad team. Maybe they are bad. We'll see, I guess. But I thought that was a really good win for them. And they still have a win over Iowa, who, I mean, I'm calling that a decent win. They're a solid team, as always. So Iowa State at 17. Maybe they should be higher. Or maybe they could be lower if you're just that unimpressed with them. I think they're just fine. They're good, not great. Georgia State, I mean, look, they went to overtime against Wake Forest, and no disrespect to Wake Forest, but they're not supposed to be good. Wake Forest should have won that game at the end, too. Most egregious missed false start penalty I've ever seen on Georgia Tech. Ended up costing Wake Forest the game because it would have been a first down. They would have won. To be fair, the officiating in that game overall was just terrible, so a number of things could have been different. But yeah, near the end, Wake Forest definitely got robbed. And I won't say that too often. There are very few examples of a team clearly getting robbed, but that was horrible. The refs in that game should be fired. I'm sorry, but that's my view of it. So Georgia State, I'm not going to move up right now. I know they're undefeated. Their best win is against Clemson, but I mean, come on. We can only respect that so much right now based on Clemson's current state. Maybe that win gets better in the coming weeks. Maybe it gets worse. We'll see. Michigan at 19. I like Michigan a lot. They got one loss. It's to Oklahoma. They got a good win over Nebraska. I think Nebraska's the top 40 team. They could be top 25 in a few weeks. We'll see. I respect Michigan. LSU, I've made my thoughts clear about them all season. They were always overrated. I gave them credit for their early season wins until the wins over Clemson and Florida just kept losing value. And then they go out and lose to Ole Miss. I mean, they're a one-loss team. They don't really have a true quality win. They got okay wins over Clemson and Florida. You can only put them so high. Michigan's win over Nebraska is better than anything LSU's done, so I do have Michigan higher. I do think their resumes are so close that at the end of the day, I could just go, okay, which team would I pick to win head-to-head? And for me, it's Michigan. You can disagree if you want. That is subjective. For me, it's Michigan, so I have Michigan higher. Virginia at 21, I already said, one of the hardest teams to rank. I mean, you got a win over Florida State. Part of me wanted to put them all the way up at 11 for that. And then I remembered, they lost to NC State. NC State, who just lost to Virginia Tech, who was blown out by Vanderbilt and Old Dominion. No shame in being blown out by Vandy this year. Old Dominion, I mean, respect to them. They're a promising Group of 5 program, but yeah, you shouldn't be getting blown out by Old Dominion if you're Virginia Tech. So yeah, that's who Virginia lost to. They lost to NC State, who lost to Virginia Tech. Not a good loss. So I'm going to hold that against them for now unless NC State starts winning games again. So I have them fairly low, and I have them below a lot of one-loss teams. But it could change. Virginia looks really good. They got a fun offense. I was telling people last week, Florida State is on upset alert. I didn't actually predict the upset because I was not brave enough, but Virginia is a promising team. So they have a legitimate shot at going to the ACC championship. I'm just saying. Penn State at 22, I've seen some people argue with me on this, saying they should be higher because of a quality loss, and if you want to use that argument, that's fine. The whole quality loss thing is subjective. I don't love the quality loss argument if that's all you can fall back on. All Penn State has done this year is dominate terrible teams. Terrible teams. Nevada, Florida International, Villanova. I'm sorry. That's not going to move me dominating them. I mean, I respect that they've dominated them and looked good. You're passing the eye test, and I know you've got talent. I respect that because there are some teams on this list who have not been able to dominate. The AP poll has Texas in the top 10. They haven't been dominant. No, not at all. So I'm going to give you credit for dominating at least, but No, Penn State should not be ranked high. Honestly, if you gave their resume to a team like Maryland, who, by the way, is undefeated, not ranking them yet, but keep an eye on them, if you gave that resume to Maryland, they wouldn't be ranked. No one would even be talking about ranking them. We have proof of that. I mean, Mississippi State is not ranked by the AP poll. They're a one-loss team with a better resume than Penn State. Hands down, better resume than Penn State. There's no debating that. And yet, Penn State is ranked. Mississippi State isn't. Logo next to your name helps a lot. Preseason expectations help a lot. Penn State was preseason top 2, top 3, so yeah, they're going to be ranked high. They're top 10 in the AP poll. It's pathetic. I've got them at 22. You can put them higher if you believe the quality loss means that much. For me, it's going to take some time. Let's wait and see if Penn State can beat some teams that matter. Unfortunately, they play UCLA and Northwestern in the next couple of weeks, so yeah, that's not going to help. But get a win over Iowa in 3 weeks, I'll respect that some more. So hold out in Penn State. They're going to be fine. They're probably going 10-2, 11-1. It's going to be fine, but for now, they don't deserve that high of a ranking. Memphis at 23. Their resume took a hit with Arkansas getting blown out. That did not help them, but I'm still going to respect it. They're undefeated. I would argue they have a slightly better resume than South Florida, who I'm going to keep ranked. Arkansas versus Florida, I mean, they're pretty comparable right now based on resume, so fairly equal best wins. South Florida has the win over Boise State, but also a blowout loss to Miami, so yeah, I'm going to give it to the undefeated team Memphis. And South Florida, I mean, I got to give them credit. They beat Florida, and they started their descent this year. They beat Boise State by 27. Boise State's still one of the top group of 5 teams. Still are. That's how it is. They might get blown out by Notre Dame this week, but they're still one of the top group of 5 teams. We'll find out more. I'm going to keep them ranked for now. Their resume gets less valuable with each passing week, so I am going to monitor that. It's possible they do drop from my rankings at some point, but we'll see. Illinois at 25. Look, I was hating on them last week. They got blown out by Indiana. They had no right being ranked. This week is fine. They beat a good USC team, and they did it in a way I didn't expect. They scored enough points. I think my prediction was USC was going to be able to score, and Illinois' offense wasn't going to be able to keep up. That was a miss by me. I forgot that USC doesn't really have a defense, and Illinois has veterans in offense, and they can move the ball sometimes. So, yeah, I'm going to give them credit for that quality win. You probably won't see USC in my rankings for a long time, if ever again this season. But Illinois, credit where it's due. They got that win, and the win over Duke looks a lot better now, too. So, I'll give them credit for that. They sneak into my rankings. Hello, Sox. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. I am just going through my rankings because I hate on the AP poll, so I have to do it myself because I do it based on merit. I've gotten a lot of hate for my rankings this week, actually. I've gotten a lot of hate, a lot of bad reactions. I've been able to explain myself every time, though. A lot of people come to my comments just to hate and then don't explain how I'm wrong. I'll ask them. I respond every time. Okay, cool. Prove me wrong. Tell me what's wrong. Why do you think I'm stupid? What do you mean I lose brain cells over this? What do you mean I wrote this when I was without a brain? Tell me what I did wrong, at least, if you're going to hate. And then give me a chance to explain. But I digress. If you're going to hate, you got to back yourself up. But yeah, these are my rankings. I just explained all of this. So, gonna move on from rankings now. Sox, I have no comment on that. We're doing a college football stream today. No NFL talk. Unless it's related to the draft, which I have been scouting college football quarterbacks. Holy rant. Hey, I'm a ranter. And when you've been responding to mean comments all week, and gotta put something out there, man. I'm just saying. Some people out there gotta be nicer. But I'll keep replying. Now we're gonna move on, because I've only got about 15 to 20 minutes to do this, and I knew that. But there aren't a lot of games that I need to talk about in depth this week. We're going to move on to my predictions. All top 25 matchups. We're going to start with my predictions here. Last week, I went 11-5, which I think is fairly respectable. I missed on the 2 biggest games. I picked Penn State and Georgia. They both kind of sold on me there, but that's on me for picking them. So this week, I'll try to do even better. A lot of these games aren't going to be that interesting. Honestly, it looks like we're in for a snooze fest this weekend, which means someone is going to get upset. That's usually what happens when the slate looks boring. Someone big goes down. We'll see who it's going to be. We're starting off on Friday night. We got a ranked BYU team, according to the AP poll, taking on West Virginia. I don't have BYU ranked in the top 25. I got them just outside the top 25. So I like them. They're undefeated. I don't see them having much issue with West Virginia. It might be closer than people expect, but I'm going to take BYU. They should be the clear better team here. Clear better team. We'll move on pretty quickly there. I don't really have any doubt. West Virginia is in a rebuilding season, so they haven't looked that good. Michigan versus Wisconsin. This could be a sneaky good game if Wisconsin, shows up for this one. They haven't done a whole lot of showing up this season yet, unfortunately. And I'm high in Michigan. I view them very fondly. I think they're a very good team. Could be a playoff team this year. They got the schedule that allows for it. The game is at Michigan, too, it looks like. So, yeah, it might be a boring game. It might be low scoring. Maybe Wisconsin keeps up for 2 to 3 quarters. But Michigan, this should be one they pull away with in the end. I'll take them in this one for sure. Illinois at Purdue. Purdue's been a lot more competitive than we expected. That being said, I'm going to take Illinois. They've proven that they are a good team, and they've seemingly moved on from that Indiana blowout loss, so they should be able to win at Purdue. I'm not going to pick the spoiler makers for the upset here. It wouldn't surprise me because, again, they've been more competitive than they should be this season, but I'll take Illinois. I'm also going to take Georgia. I'm very rarely, if ever, going to pick against my team, so give me the Dogs against Kentucky. They look like the worst team in the SEC this year. Yeah, I'm not. I don't even have thoughts on the game. I expect it to be over by the first quarter. If it's not, I'll be disappointed. It is a game where every couple seasons they give us trouble for no reason, so it's possible. Cincinnati against Iowa State. Surprisingly enough, Cincinnati's actually the favorite in this game. I don't really know how that happened. Cincinnati is obviously a good team, but Iowa State is ranked in the top 14 by the AP poll. They're in the top 20 for me as well. I don't have Cincinnati ranked. I think that they are gaining steam, though. They beat Kansas last week, and y'all know I like Kansas. I think they're a good team. So Cincinnati has my respect now, for sure. Iowa State, I've been low on them, and I expect them to lose to somebody they shouldn't lose to. I don't think it's going to be this game. It could be. It could be. But after picking against Iowa State last week, I'm learning my lesson. I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to go with Iowa State here. They should be able to win. I'm going to trust them here. Might come back to bite me. Keep an eye on this game. Could be the upset of the weekend, even though Cincinnati is favored, so it's not really an upset. But it'll be labeled that way if it happens. Funny how that works. We got Penn State at UCLA. Penn State is going to win this game. Moving on. Texas at Florida. I'm not going to be fast with this one, actually. I'm low on Texas. I don't even have them ranked. If they win this week, then I might rank them. Probably would rank them. It'd easily be their best win this season. It's Arch Manning's first SEC road game. Actually, I think it's his first SEC game at all as a starter. I might be wrong on that. He may have started a game last year. Either way, it's his first road game at least against an SEC opponent, and Florida has a very good defense. Both of these teams have really good defenses. They actually have similar stories right now. Really good defenses, but quarterbacks who were hyped up for a year, or in Arch Manning's case, multiple years, and then disappointing so far. DJ Lagway has some injury problems. I'm sorry, some not injury problems, although that may also be a factor. He's got some turnover problems. It's been an issue this year. Arch Manning just is straight up bad so far. He had one good game against Sam Houston State. Yeah, Sam Houston State. Can't tell you much about them. They're a winless team. Not a good look. I mean, you beat up on them. You look good against Sam Houston State. You're supposed to. Most quarterbacks in the country would look good against them. Sorry, Sam Houston. Arch Manning's just not a good quarterback right now. Maybe that changes at some point, but I don't think it's going to be against the Florida defense. I think Florida has a much better shot at winning this game. People realize they have one of their best receivers returning, making his debut in this game. Stand out in the offseason, freshman receiver. He should help that offense. I'm going to do something brave here. For the second time this season, too, I'm going to pick Florida to pull off a big upset, according to the AP poll, because Texas is in the top 10 for some reason. I'm picking Florida in this game. It's going to be a gross game. Both defenses are going to come to play. It's going to be whichever quarterback rises up to the occasion and carries his team to victory. I'm going to say it's DJ Lagway. As weird as it is, I believe in him more than I believe in Arch Manning still. It's weird. I'd love to be wrong because I'm a Florida hater, but I'm going to take the Gators to win this game. And it's going to be billed as a huge upset, even though it's not that big of an upset. Neither team is really that good right now. So give me Florida on that one. Napier buys a little bit more time. Still getting fired this season. Now, game of the week, according to Game Day at least, because they're going to Tuscaloosa for this. It is Vanderbilt at Alabama. We're going to see if Alabama takes down their biggest bully, because Vanderbilt, they beat them last year. And Alabama fans were mocked. Alabama, the team was mocked. Kalen DeBoer was mocked. The whole team was just in shambles after that loss. Yeah, ugly stuff. It cost them a playoff spot in the end. Vanderbilt is going into Tuscaloosa. They are feeling really confident, mostly because of Diego Pavia. That man is more confident than most people I've ever seen. Might be the most confident I can think of right now. Thanks Shador Sanders, except Diego Pavia is actually backing it up on a week-to-week basis. It's crazy, man. Diego Pavia, we'll see if he can do what he did last year. I know he's a dual-threat quarterback. He can run. Alabama has shown they're vulnerable to the run. Even we ran for over 200 yards on them last week. We still lost, but we ran on them pretty easily. Florida State ran all over them with their dual-threat quarterback. I would dare say that Tommy Castellanos is not as good as Diego Pavia. Vanderbilt's going to be able to move the ball in this game. They're going to be able to score some points. That's why I believe it's going to be competitive. My problem is I do not believe in the Vanderbilt defense to keep Alabama away in this game. Ty Simpson, very good quarterback, very good in that offense. He has a very good receiver in Ryan Williams, and they got another one in Bernard. A couple of really good receivers there. Alabama's going to score points too. In the end, I'm going to take the home team here, Alabama. They're going to want revenge after last season. Vanderbilt is going to put up a fight. It's going to be a close game, and I very much want to be wrong. I am going to be rooting for Vanderbilt in this game. I'm rooting for them the rest of the year, man. But Alabama should be able to get revenge this time around. Give me the Crimson Tide, and hope I'm wrong. Hope I'm wrong. Surprise, interesting game here. It is Virginia at Louisville. If Virginia wins this game, we can go ahead and guess they're gonna be in the ACC championship game because everything after this is pretty easy. They shouldn't lose 2 conference games if they get past Louisville. Louisville's undefeated right now. Not too many people talking about them because they haven't really beaten anyone. This is a chance for them to change that. This is a chance for them to remind everyone they're in the ACC and they're usually really good. I think they got Miller Moss at quarterback. They should be able to put up points. Virginia doesn't have that good of a defense. It's their offense that's been really good. Really interesting game here. I am going to go with Virginia. I believe in Virginia. I think they have a really good offense. I said it last week before the Florida State game. I'm going to keep saying it. They got a really good offense. They're going to put up points. This might be a shootout, but Virginia's offense has looked good every week this season. Louisville's has not. Virginia could win by double digits, or they could end up losing. I don't know. It's really hard to predict with these two teams right now. I'm going to back Virginia here. I believe Louisville's actually the favorite in this game, which is a little surprising. But no, give me Virginia. They're going to keep riding that high after beating Florida State. They're going to show the country they are indeed for real. It wasn't a fluke. So I'm rooting for them. They're a good story. Notre Dame against Boise State. I don't really have any doubt Notre Dame's going to win. They're going to be able to put up a ton of points. Their offense has been killing it this season. The defense is what hadn't been doing so well. And then they shut down a good Arkansas offense, so maybe they're figuring things out. Notre Dame's still a really good team. I expect them to win by double digits for sure. Respect to Boise State, but they're just not that caliber of a team. It is what it is. No Genty to save you. Oklahoma is going to beat Kent State. We don't need to talk about that. Texas Tech at Houston, we do need to talk about. Because Houston's undefeated right now. That may be flying under the radar still, but they have been a good team. They almost lost to winless Oregon State last week, but they did come back to win that. So for that, I don't believe in Houston. I think they're doing well to win games, and I'm rooting for them, but they haven't beaten anyone good. I think it's probably more like that they're just pretenders, and now that they're going to play a really good team in Texas Tech, the best in the Big 12, they're probably going to be exposed as a team that's not for real. Credit to them, shout out to them. They're doing better than anyone expected this year, but Texas Tech is really good, and I believe in them. I don't just view them as the Big 12 champion, assuming that they, win the Big 12. That's what I expect. I view them as a real playoff contender. Like, I think if they get into the playoffs, they actually could do some damage. I think that they are better than Arizona State was last year. I'm going to go with that until I'm proven wrong. Now, I'm going to skip over the big game here, get through Ohio State and Minnesota here. Ohio State should win. Minnesota's not going to be able to do anything on offense. If Washington only put up 6, I don't know what Minnesota's going to do. Probably more than Washington now that I've said that live on air. But I have no issue taking Ohio State here. Shouldn't really be much of an issue. I don't really see a way Minnesota pulls off an upset. Their defense would have to play the best it's played in a while, shut down that offense, and then their own offense would have to figure out how to score. And Ohio State looks like they might have the best defense in the nation, or at least one of the best defenses. We'll see. A&M against Mississippi State. I think everyone's assuming Texas A&M will win. It's at home for them as well. I'm kind of assuming they will as well, but I learned last week not to just assume that fully, because I was assuming Tennessee was going to score at will against Mississippi State. I was assuming they were going to win by double digits. I said they would win by double digits. I was wrong. Mississippi State very nearly won that game. They were so close. So close. This could be the game that will be the upset of the week, and it shouldn't be a surprise. A&M is known for having big games early on and then disappointing. It's kind of a thing with them for some reason. And Mississippi State is playing really good football. I'm not going to be the one who predicts it, though. I won't be surprised by it. Neither should you, because Mississippi State is really good. But I am going to go with Texas A&M at home here. If it were a home game for Mississippi State, I might be inclined to go with them for the upset here. I'm going to go with the Aggies, though. They should be the better team. Their defense is going to be able to contain that offense. Their own offense should be able to run the ball on State. I think. We'll see. Mississippi State keeps overperforming, so keep an eye on that game. It might be close. Everyone's going to be watching Miami, Florida State, but keep an eye on A&M and Mississippi State. But that brings us to the big game, Miami at Florida State. Last week I said Florida State against Virginia is a trap game for them because they might look ahead to Miami. Turns out that was the case. Florida State coming off that loss, they are going to be out for blood. They got to show everyone they are legit. They beat Bama week 1, and then they go out and lose to Virginia. They can't be feeling great about that, and their quarterback's going to talk all the talk. He's going to get them riled up. Florida State's going to be ready for this game. I think we see week 1 Florida State instead of week 5 Florida State against Virginia. Miami, they're coming off a bye week. They're rested. They're going to Florida State for this game, though. This is not going to be an easy game. And I don't think Miami is like an elite team or anything. I know I have them at 1 overall because it's resume-based. It's what's been earned, in my opinion. But I am going to go with Florida State here for the upset. I'm not particularly confident, but they're the home team. They have a chip on their shoulder now after losing to Virginia. If they lose this game, the ACC gets a lot less interesting. It's just Miami's conference at that point. I feel like Florida State gets this win, and then everyone's going to say Miami was fraudulent, and then no one's really going to know what to do with them, or with Virginia, or with Florida State even. I'm guessing the assumption will be that the ACC altogether is terrible, but I'm not going to sell you on that right now. I'm going to go with Florida State in this game. They're still very talented. They might be inconsistent, as it turns out, and their defense might be a liability, but I think the main thing that hurt them was Virginia being able to run the ball and having a dual-threat quarterback to do that. Carson Beck is not a dual-threat quarterback. I watched him at Georgia. He's not. He's a pocket passer. He can move when he needs to, but that you don't normally want him to be running. So we'll see if I'm wrong. Miami obviously has a lot of talent too, and I mean no disrespect to Miami by picking against them here. I could be way off. They could dominate this game for all I know. They've been the most impressive team to me so far this season based on resume. So I mean no disrespect to Miami, but I am going to pick Florida State for the upset. We're going to see if I'm right. You guys should hope that I'm not. But yeah, I expect a good game. I mean, I believe Josh Pate is going to this game, and whenever he goes to a game, it ends up being a good game. So I trust his judgment more than just about anyone else's. So I expect this to be a very good game. You guys should definitely be tuned into that one. Probably game of the week, unless Bama Vandy is as good as I think it'll be. We'll find out, though. But yeah, those are my picks for this week. Not a lot of games I'm looking forward to. Especially that early slate. Like I don't know what to watch. I mean, I'm going to watch the Georgia game. I don't know what I'm going to tell you guys to watch in the afternoon, early morning to afternoon slate. It's pretty rough. Cincinnati, Iowa State might be the best game on, which I don't expect that to be fun. But, you know, it's something. It's football. Just be glad we have it while we do. We're further along this season than we should be. It feels like it's going too fast, so enjoy it while we have it. September is ending pretty soon as of right now. Last day of September. Enjoy football while it's here, you guys. Enjoy it while it's here. We're going to be longing for it come January, come February. So, anywho, those are my picks, and we went through my rankings, my reaction to the AP poll. So that's all that we're going to do for today. This was our weekly college football rankings and predictions stream, so I hope those of you who are tuning in or listening are enjoying it. I'll keep doing it every week. I'll probably start next week around 5 p.m. Central Time. I'll give you next week's rankings and predictions and reactions and all that. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Thank you so much to anyone who stopped by. Sox, you were here for a minute. I don't know how long you were here. You might be long gone by now, but thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Anyone else who was listening in the background, appreciate you. So there we go. As for Football for Fun's content in general, we will have our NFL predictions out tomorrow if you're interested in those. We're going to get those out pretty quickly. Let's see, what else are we doing? I'm sure we got some other stuff coming out. We'll probably have some shorts, maybe some blind rankings. Blind ranking college football teams, blind ranking NFL teams. We'll probably do stuff like that. We'll do some commentary. We'll be commentating on the Sunday Night Football game this weekend, so if you're an NFL fan and you want to hear our play-by-play reactions, that should be a fun one to watch. So yeah, we got plenty of stuff coming out. We appreciate all the support we've been getting. We're trying to get to 300 subs, so if you haven't subscribed yet, it's completely free. We appreciate any support we can get, so thank you very much. I'm going to wrap it up now. I got to get going. Thanks again, you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy another good weekend where we have football. Not going to last too much longer, so take it all in, man. Have a good day, everybody. Peace out.